Kyle reviewed. Like and subscribe.
Hey guys, just finished watching The Flash, Season 6, Episode 9, Crisis, Part 3. Crisis on Infinite Earth, Part 3. Wow, what an episode. I mean, oh my god. Very well done. No, we got so much stuff. First off, we start off with Huntress. We see a cameo from the 2003 show Huntress, which is on Earth 203, and that was really interesting. And New Gotham and stuff. So that was quite interesting there. We get a bit of Batwoman or Oracle on her radio. We don't see her or hear her, and it's unclear if that was actually the actress. Let me see. They say that it's her on IMDb here. Who playing Oracle and stuff for the opening and stuff. We don't see. Oh, I think she's uncredited Oracle. At least they had listed her on IMDb, but it could just be anyone. So we'll have to wait and see there if that actually was her or something, or if they just kind of, they had the actress kind of voice in over and stuff, or if they had her, or if they just kind of had someone sound like her type thing, and IMDb is just kind of crediting her, right? But it was definitely a great opening seeing Huntress there. It'd be cool to see if we get anything, and I'm hoping that at some point with all these cameo Earths, a lot of them getting just kind of like, oh, they're blink and you miss it, there's just to wipe them out. I'm hoping we get some sort of an Endgame style bringing them back type thing. We'll have to wait and see as to where things go. I mean, we didn't technically see the Smallville's Earth kind of get destroyed, but all the Earths at this point have been destroyed, so we assume that it's also been destroyed too. We see that Supergirl takes the book Destiny to try and save Earth 38, and then throughout this whole crossover, only last episode, but we saw Batwoman actually when she met with Kevin Conroy's Batman. She took one of the kryptonite discs and stuff, and then she kind of admits to Kara this episode. It's like, hey, she convinces her first, to not use the book, and then she's like, and then she admits that, yeah, I took this. You think you should keep this? I don't need this anymore. And then Carl's like, yeah, hold on to it just in case. I trust your judgment, to take it type thing. And it is quite interesting. I wish it was a little bit earned a little bit more, but it is a very well done. And for how busy this crossover was, I think it would be really cool. And I definitely can't wait to see as to where things go. And I'm hoping that they could crash, Supergirl onto the same Earth as Flash, Arrow, and Batwoman and all this stuff, so that we can have a couple of crossovers with just Batwoman and Supergirl, and just have those two crossover. Because fleshing little crossovers like that allow to get bigger character moments when it's just between two characters and strengthen bond between two characters. I mean, the reason why the bond between the relationship between Oliver and Barry is so strong is because they had a couple of crossovers. They've been crossing over and meeting for so long. Barry first went to Star City before he got his powers, and then as soon as he did get his powers, first person he went to talk to was Oliver Queen. So I think that was kind of interesting with that. Whereas building something like that up for Supergirl and Batwoman by having them cross over, just the two of them at some point, outside of the big crossovers would be really cool. And you could also have some of the supporting cast, like Luke Fox, could go over to Supergirl and learn from there, and maybe Alex can go over to Batwoman for an episode and bounce back and forth. Someone like Brandy can go bounce back and forth. Even Martian Manhunter could bounce back and could go over to Batwoman, something like that. And having those things, those characters going over to kind of get some hang out, learn some stuff there, and bring some wisdom from. Learn something there and bring some wisdom from one character to the next type of thing could be really fun to see with these two. We get Lucifer cameo here, which is quite interesting since there was a rumor that he was going around since he was spotted on set, and then he straight out came out and said, no, I just went to go see some friends, and then someone thinks that I'm now on there. So that was kind of interesting that he straight up lied to us that he wasn't going to be in there, which is pretty cool. I like when they do that, just don't keep lying. And this kind of is interesting too because we had Michael Rosenbaum who came straight out and said he wasn't going to be in the crossover whatsoever because they didn't offer him enough money. So if Lucifer was straight up lying, the actor was playing it to try and keep the secret, which I think is perfect. I'd rather them lie and just say no, we're not doing it, than say wishy-washy and just kind of I think it's really kind of it really is cool to see him in there, even though he said he wasn't, takes makes it more of a surprise, right? Keep it a surprise. We get Vibe is back, and I think that called that there. I knew that he was going to be. I think I called in a couple episodes ago that that the monitor might just kind of, hey, hear your powers back, and even if he doesn't want to, I think it's going to be cool. I hope that he ends up learning his lesson and he ends up keeping his powers after this. I'd rather not see him lose his powers permanently. Maybe he learns after all this. He's like, yeah, I guess I could keep my powers type thing. And maybe when he goes back to the Flash, have him have his powers, and then he's about to take the cure again. And then he, maybe his current girlfriend, maybe decides to tell him to, whoa, you saved us. Without this, you wouldn't be able to save us. You need to keep that. I think it could be a really interesting kind of rest of the season arc. Maybe have him for the rest of the season of Flash, have him kind of be not sure, indecisive if he wants to keep or indecisive whether or not he wants to keep his powers, but to ultimately keep his powers at the end of the season would be really cool. Something I'd hope to see from Vibe. You got Black Lightning in this episode, which is I'm glad that I watched after yesterday we had the Batwoman episode, then Black Lightning, and that's really kind of an important order to kind of watch it a little bit. I mean, it doesn't really matter the order, but it's just glad to watch. I'm glad I had watched the most recent Black Lightning episode, season 3, episode 9, just before this episode of The Flash, because it does show what, like he says in this episode, that you do see his wife and daughter and his whole Earth kind of disappear, and he's saved at the last second. So I think that was really cool seeing that. I'm glad that I got that kind of backstory, or just the knowing where he's at and what his headspace is at, because it really definitely is a huge part of this show. We see that the Earth 90 Flash dies, which is somewhat predictable. That we kind of there's a theory that was going around, like obviously that the Earth 90's Flash would take the place. I think it was really well done the way it was done, and I definitely can't wait to see. I'm glad that John Wesley Shipp is not only playing this character, and there's the multiverse where he's able to play like Jay Garrick and all that stuff, because I definitely want to keep John Wesley Shipp part of the show. But it's a nice ending to the Earth 90s Flash, and I kind of would like to see that last little piece that we saw of his emblem all ripped up. I kind of would like to see that at some point somehow, maybe Barry or Cisco would be really cool. It makes sense it would be him to pick that up and kind of frame that and leave that up in the Star Labs in every episode, and getting that piece from the Earth 90. So that way every episode, every time we get a Star Lab shot, we see that in the background as an homage to him, and I think that'd be really, really cool to have that actually up there, that piece of the ripped piece of the costume that's left from him, reminding everyone of his sacrifice. I think that would be really cool to see that, have that up in the Star Labs. And then we end the episode. We also had another storyline where they went. Constantine, Diggle, and Mia went to hell, and that's where they met Lucifer to try and help to go into hell and to find, or hell, or go into the afterlife or whatever, and find Oliver's soul. And that's where he's there, and they also meet Jim Corrigan, who is the Spectre, and Oliver's going to become the Spectre. So that's really going to be cool to see where things go with that. Definitely can't wait to see as to how things kind of continue on. We also end the episode with Lex Luthor, rewriting his own destiny, or rewriting Superman's destiny and putting himself in the place instead. That's really cool. I hope that Superman's not going to be dead, but then again, we had everyone die, we had Idris die and everything like that. So all this proves that everyone who's dead is going to come back, and there's always hope that some people could come back. So definitely can't wait to see as to where things go with all this. Super excited to see as to who we get in the next 2 episodes on January 14th. But we'll have to wait and to see as to where things go. So let me know what you think, guys, about this crossover in the comments below. What has been your favorite part? What was your favorite cameo? I would say Smallville. Not sure how you feel about the Smallville cameo just yet. I just probably have to collect my thoughts and maybe make a video just about each cameo. But all the other cameos are just really cool to see. So definitely fingers crossed that there might still be an Endgame style scene with everyone in it, helping out somewhat. I think it could be really cool. I mean, all we need is Tom Welling to just kind of jump out, boom, and then CGI him for the rest of the episode. That's it. You know what I mean? You don't need to have him super long. You just say, "Hey, I'm here to help," and then he flies around. He's just a red blue blur throughout the whole thing, right? That could be something cool. See if he's just a red blue blur, and that's it. And then it just and then after the fight, it's just shaking hands and they take off in the portal. That's it. You know what I mean? So that could be really cool extra little things that only would have taken one day on top of what he did last episode. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited for this. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Okay, Kyle has a YouTube channel called Kyle Reviewed. It's about Marvel and DC. I happen to know a little bit about DC since my initials are DC. All right, so if you like Kyle's interviews and videos and reviews and everything like that, then like and subscribe. If you don't like them, well, maybe you're just not a comic book fan.